Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. I know it's getting late, everybody. Welcome to the Plant-Based Loser platform on Facebook and YouTube. It's Shabaka Amin coming at you live and direct. So, good evening to all of you on Facebook. Good evening to all of you on YouTube. What's going on in your world? How was your day today? Time is flying, right? It's moving. We were just celebrating January 1st, and now it's January 14th, and tomorrow we'll be at that halfway point in the month. You know, January 31st is the last date and day of the month of January, and we are pretty much at the halfway point after coming off of the end of 2019. So, welcome to the Plant-Based Loser platform. And for those of you who are joining me for the first time, I've got 21 years in the wellness and fitness industry. I'm Charlotte's first plant-based and vegan personal trainer. I've personally been on a plant-based and vegan diet for 31 years. That's right. I said 31. 31 years on a plant-based and vegan diet. And I consider it an eating style more than I do a diet because it's not a temporary approach to eating, it's long term. And so, what I want to do is originally my game plan and reason and purpose for coming on live tonight was to interview someone, but things didn't work out according to my plan. But there's always a greater plan at work. So I made an adjustment and I decided that, hey, let me use this as an opportunity to actually discuss the Plant Based Loser Challenge and talk about what it's all about. The Plant Based Loser Challenge is a 21-day plant-based weight loss challenge. It's for folks who are pursuing weight loss and metabolic health. So, why should anyone consider doing this challenge? Well, I can answer that question over the length of this broadcast so that you will really get a sense of what has gone into the creation of the 21-day plant-based weight loss challenge. So let me give you a little backstory. So as I just mentioned, 21 years serving in the wellness and fitness industry as Charlotte's first plant-based and vegan certified personal trainer and nutrition performance coach. At the very beginning of my career, and even before I got started in the industry, I wanted to make a difference in people's lives that went above and beyond exercise, that went above and beyond fitness. You see, because our biology is complex, but at the same time simple. And fitness training or exercise by itself does not and cannot lead to health success. It's one of the practices, one of the best practices that does have a beneficial impact on our biology. However, we all know that you can be an avid exerciser or work out frequently and often and still have heart disease. You can work out weekly, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, or 6 times a week and still have high blood pressure. You can be an avid exerciser, even runner, and have type 2 or type 1 diabetes. Oftentimes, people actually have heart attacks while they're working out. So look it up. I'm not making this up. This is, a researchable phenomenon. A lot of people who are actually working out, people who have heart attacks, in many cases, they have heart attacks while they're working out. So you could do all the cardio in the world, cardio, respiratory, and vascular training, and still have heart disease because of the way you eat and don't eat. So over 21 years ago, a vision came to me or through me. And to be honest, to be frank with you, my whole journey really started as revelation, meaning because of the practice of meditation, I discovered my why, my reason for being on earth. I discovered my purpose, my life's work, my mission. 23, 20, might as well say 24 years ago, back in 1996, I received a vision um, and revelation for how I would make a difference while I'm here on earth. And so it really brought me back to something I've always been passionate about, which has been fitness. Um, but I knew that I wanted to not only help people get in shape, but I wanted to help them get in shape internally, meaning help them get healthy. So I was able to formulate a nutritional protocol that people could follow, a guideline that people could follow that involved them eating or increasing their plant-based food consumption. Before I even got in the industry, I understood that most Americans, because of the way they ate, would be at risk for heart disease, the number one killer. And so, me being the caring person that I am, I knew that having an opportunity to work with people one on one on a weekly basis gave me a platform where I could actually make a difference in educating people about metabolic health, and giving people a shot at achieving health success. Because again, you can work out all you want, you can exercise on a regular basis, but your eating can cause you to create chronic disease in your biology. Your eating, the way you eat, can cause you to show up at the cemetery early. So I had an interest early on in showing people how to eat to show up at the cemetery late, meaning eating in a manner that not only gave them health success or metabolic health, but also influenced their lifespan and longevity. And so those have always been my values, and that's what I always held. That's always been near and dear to me as an influencer in the fitness world, and that's why I am one of the pioneers in the space that I've referred to and coined plant-based fitness. Um, I wanted to not only help people get in shape through exercise, but I wanted them to get in shape internally by making their blood pH more alkaline and less acidic, by creating hormonal balance through foods. And I even coined the phrase eating is training. The first person in the world to talk about eating as training. Eating is training. I've been teaching that for 21 years. So eating is training. Eating is a form of training. Exercise is a form of training. Even meditation and mindfulness is a form of training. So I wanted to, since my plans changed, I wanted to talk about the Plant Based Loser Challenge, which was launched in March of 2019. Now, let me say this, the Plant Based Loser brand was launched in March 2019. However, the plant based metabolic weight loss plan that is the solution, that is the guideline that those participating in the 21-day plant based weight loss challenge utilize, has been in the works for 21 years, backed by the latest findings in nutritional science. I've been blessed with the opportunity to benefit from the research, the latest findings in nutritional science that has to do with how humans should eat, what we should consume in order to enhance our biological function. I've been able to benefit from that science. I've been able to benefit from that information and to create guidelines to help people have a real legitimate shot at metabolic health or health success. So for 21 years, all of my personal training programs have been plant-based personal training programs. And so that was really the beginning and the start of uh, the plant-based loser challenge. And just to give you some backstory, so flash forward last year, I knew I wanted to basically allow for people to have an experience that would be 21 days in duration. Because prior to the 21-day plant-based weight loss challenge, I launched a 10-day plant-based weight loss challenge as a beta back in the fall of 2000 and well, really summer fall 2018, and that went extremely well. Average weight loss was 8, 9, 10 pounds. Average weight loss was actually 10 pounds in 10 days. I did have one individual lose 12 pounds in 10 days. And I'm referring to 12 pounds of fat in 10 days because it's a weight loss challenge. So I had folks losing 8 pounds in 10 days, 1 pounds in 10 days, and I had one lose 12 pounds in 10 days. So I ultimately wanted people to be on my plan for 21 days to use the entire plant-based metabolic weight loss plan. And now, from March up to present, we're approaching 70 enrollments, meaning close to 70 people have enrolled in the Plant-Based Loser Challenge. And we've experienced great success. People have been losing. If you've been following me over the last several months, and if you're following me on Instagram, you know that participants in the plant-based loser challenge, one guy lost 26 pounds in 21 days, and you can go to Instagram and follow under plant-based loser challenge on Instagram, so you can add all of the weight loss testimonials. And there are approximately 60 or more weight loss testimonials that you can find on Instagram. And these testimonials are folks who participated in the plant-based loser challenge. So this discussion is all about you understanding what the plant-based loser challenge is and how you can benefit. It was designed for people who are pursuing weight loss and metabolic health. And what I've done was leverage my 21 years as a personal trainer and nutrition performance coach to make this available to people online. So I've had people in about 8 or 9 different states benefit from my plant-based metabolic weight loss plan, and you can benefit. What do I look for in a customer? What's an ideal? Just someone who's pursuing weight loss and having a hunger for metabolic health, having a hunger to achieve health success. There can be no health success, so you can't be healthy as a human being if you don't have metabolic health. And metabolic is another word for intracellular health. If you're dealing with chronic inflammation, if you're dealing with hormonal imbalance, if you're dealing with digestive issues, you don't have metabolic health. You're dealing with metabolic dysfunction. And so medically, we know that persons who are overweight, specifically persons dealing with excess abdominal belly fat, medically referred to as central obesity, also called abdominal obesity. Anybody dealing with excess abdominal belly fat, it could be you. It's the first condition that paves the way for other conditions, which medically is referred to as metabolic syndrome, which is a clustering of risk factor conditions, starting with abdominal obesity or central obesity, which most people would say excess abdominal belly fat, which is a combination of not just subcutaneous belly fat, but also visceral belly fat, which is behind the abdominal muscle wall, in and surrounding the internal organs like the liver, the heart, etc. So, my plant based metabolic weight loss plan actually removes and reduces and reverses abdominal belly fat or central obesity because medically they know that once you have, it's just a matter of time before other conditions like hypertension or elevated blood glucose, which is caused by insulin resistance, or elevated blood serum triglycerides, or high or elevated LDL and lowered HDL. These are all metabolic syndrome conditions. So the first one is abdominal obesity. And if you have abnormal cholesterol, or elevated blood glucose, or high blood pressure, those other three conditions are metabolic syndrome conditions. But the first precursor condition is central obesity or abdominal obesity, and it opens and paves the way for those other conditions I just named. Medicine says, medical science says, if you have at least three out of those um, five conditions, you have metabolic syndrome, which is a cluster or clustering or a combination of those uh, conditions, which are risk factors for type 2 diabetes, risk factors for stroke, risk factors for the other vascular disease called heart disease, as well as cancer. So there's a relationship between central obesity or abdominal obesity and cancer, as well as type 2 diabetes, as well as PCOS. A lot of women are being diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, non alcohol fatty liver. So, in addition to cancer, having excess abdominal belly fat puts you at risk for basically will cause you to show up at the cemetery early, which is referred to as premature death. So this is no laughing matter. This is serious. So what is the plant-based loser challenge all about? Again, it's for people who are pursuing weight loss, who are overweight, and the achievement of metabolic health. Oftentimes in a conversation about weight loss and obesity, there's no focus on the opportunity and the potential to activate intracellular health, because that potential is there already. Like, our bodies, our biology is fully capable of burning fat. Our biology is fully capable of storing fat, whether your biology metabolically is in a state of fat storage or fat burning depends on you, depends on your habits. If you have habits, eating habits that indicate that you're a food addict, meaning most of what you consume or give your biology is sugary, salty, and fatty processed foods, that's really the culprit. That's what's really responsible for your obesity and you being overweight. So, and it also explains why, even though you've been overweight and you've been struggling and you've not been successful and you've made attempts to eat better, the reason why you've been unable to break those eating patterns is because once you are a food addict, once you start eating highly processed, sugary, salty, and fatty foods, your biology and your brain specifically gets used to eating for dopamine release. But also, even if you make an attempt to begin to eat better, you're going to experience withdrawal symptoms like the shakes, headaches, moodiness, because once you have been eating highly processed foods, it produces something called toxic metabolites. And these toxic metabolites are what's responsible for the withdrawal symptoms. So it makes it very hard for people who want to lose weight and start their weight loss journey. They come up against the number one obstacle that stops them, which is food addiction. On a mass level, I refer to mass food addiction as food slavery. The economic and nutritional consumption of highly processed foods that are addictive, hyper palatable, and responsible for our epidemics of obesity and overweight and other chronic diseases, which ultimately lead to disability or premature death. So that's food slavery. Now, you don't have to go out like that. You don't have to remain a food slave. You don't have to tolerate remaining overweight. So I'm very passionate about helping people achieve metabolic health. Once you start activating intracellular health, you immediately go into fat burn mode. I've formulated a proprietary plant-based metabolic weight loss plan that one frees you from addictive cravings for sugary, salty, and fatty processed foods, meaning it frees you from food addiction. Once you get free from food addiction and you start optimally nourishing your metabolism, you immediately go into fat burn mode. So, my plant based metabolic weight loss plan will free you from addictive cravings. It's going to begin repairing your that. When I say repair your metabolism, it's going to start reversing chronic inflammation. It's going to start the process of hormone balancing, and it's going to start to actually heal your microbiome. It's going to start to eliminate gut issues because we know scientifically that weight loss resistance, the inability of someone who's overweight or obese to lose weight, is for three reasons: chronic inflammation, number one; hormonal imbalance, number two; and lastly, digestive issues. Those are the three known scientific reasons why someone is metabolically in a state of weight loss resistance, or they're unable to lose weight, regardless of whether they exercise or not. So, my plant based metabolic weight loss plan consists of three solid meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as metabolic smoothies, metabolic soups, and metabolic teas. Now, in the first 7 days of the 21-day plant-based weight loss challenge, you're on what is referred to as the inflammation intervention or the inflammation protocol, meaning you will be on metabolic smoothies, soups, and teas that actually undo chronic inflammation. In days 8 through 14, you'll be on a different metabolic smoothie, soup, and tea that sets in motion hormone balancing. All right, because hormonally, weight gain or fat storage, as well as fat burning, is governed by fundamentally three hormones: insulin, um, cortisol, leptin. Um, Insulin like growth factor plays its role, but the bottom line is insulin needs to be impacted. A lot of people are dealing with insulin resistance. A lot of people are dealing with leptin resistance. A lot of people are dealing with elevated cortisol levels because of their emotional stress, because they drink a lot of caffeinated beverages, because they're not securing adequate sleep. Those three things I named elevate cortisol. So, hormone balancing is an essential part of the weight loss process. And I have metabolic smoothie, soups, and teas that bring your biology back into hormonal balance. And then the last days 15 through 21, you're on a metabolic smoothie, soup, and tea for um, eradicating digestive issues, for healing your microbiome, for restoring and increasing healthy gut flora. So, but you're on three solid meals. You're on a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's macronutrient and micronutrient dense, meaning that you're going to get adequate amounts of protein, fats, and carbs that are plant sourced, and you're going to get more micronutrients in your bloodstream. Micronutrients are antioxidants, they're phytochemicals, vitamins, and minerals. See, a major part of hormone imbalance is a micronutrient deficiency. To be more specific, a phytochemical deficiency. Phytochemicals or phytonutrients are the color pigments you see in vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds and even beans. You know, beans come in different colors, right? Those colors are functional chemicals that play a role in repairing damaged DNA, damaged mitochondria. So, everything you need, you can find in the plant kingdom to repair your metabolism. In fact, the nutrients in plant-based foods are medicines for your metabolism. Has nothing to do with your age. Doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man. Doesn't matter if you're 50, 60, 70, 80, or 90. Anyone that's overweight can lose weight easily, and anyone who's dealing with metabolic dysfunction can actually repair their metabolism, can actually heal their metabolism, stimulate fat loss day one, and overall begin the process of achieving metabolic health. So, if you have any questions, leave them, and let me see if I can bring up something on screen so you can check it out. All right, let me check. Let me show you something. So this is a page showing you, this is the info page for the Plant-Based Loser Challenge. This is where you can learn about the Plant-Based Loser Challenge, and this is where you can enroll. And you would go see the moving section at the bottom of the screen. That's where you can go to look at what's on screen right now. PlantBasedLoserChallenge.com. So this is a discussion about the Plant-Based Loser Challenge, the 21 plant-based way. Um, Let me see if I can show you a little bit more. Okay, let's go here. And so there's a paragraph, a little biographical paragraph about me. And then up here, it's explaining, telling you about the Plant-Based Loser Challenge, being the 21-day plant-based weight loss challenge for those pursuing weight loss and the achievement of health success. Let me scroll down and let you see more. You know, what does the Plant-Based Loser Challenge include? The plant-based metabolic weight loss plan, I just went over that. You would become a member of the Plant-Based Loser community. We have over 70 members in the Plant-Based Loser community today. I believe we're at 75 members, paid members. Plans, grocery shopping lists, food lists, plant-based recipes, the SST3 intervention for inflammation, hormones, and digestion. I talked about that. That's the 3 metabolic smoothies, 3 metabolic soups, 3 metabolic teas. I even have a bonus, you know, after the 21-day plant-based weight loss challenge, I can put you on another metabolic protocol called the metabolic juice cleanse for fat loss. So I have juices that are not fruit based that I've helped many people lose weight. One teenager was on my metabolic juice cleanse. And one thing about my metabolic juice cleanse, you're not just on juices, you're on 3 solid meals and non-fruit metabolic juices, meaning someone with type 2 diabetes or other chronic illnesses that are influenced insulin resistance, can undo insulin resistance, balance their hormones in general, and undo metabolic damage, meaning those chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes will disappear. So, on juices that don't have fruits, because if you're pre diabetic or diabetic, you shouldn't be drinking juices or smoothies that have fruit in them. It's just the truth. You're just going to worsen your condition. So I have the metabolic juice cleanse for fat loss. I have a mobile, accessible, and print on demand files, which means I have customers that go shopping from their mobile device or from a computer. You can print out the documents, which would be the meal plan and the recipes, community encouragement, and weight loss and metabolic, and have social support. I would say all the root of all addiction is a lack of love and connection. So we need, I call divine support, but we also need social support. So that's where community encouragement and accountability comes in. For those who live in the Charlotte region, we have a monthly meet and eat event where we meet at different restaurants monthly so that you can experience um, different plant-based and vegan meals at different locations. So live coaching and Q&A is a part of it. And I provide plant-based loser customer support via Facebook Messenger. So those components. So visit, as you can see, you can visit Plant-Based Loser Challenge. You can go to it's not a website, it's a info and enrollment page. And you can certainly go there and read up about the Plant-Based Loser Challenge so you can learn the details. It's a great community. It's a great opportunity for you. If you're overweight, but you're pursuing weight loss, then the Plant-Based Loser Challenge is ideal for you. Um, you can lose anywhere from 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, or 20 or 26 pounds in 21 days, because I have weight loss testimonials covering that. 15 pounds of fat loss in 21 days is remarkable. But most people who are overweight drop more. I see 17, 18 pounds, 19 pounds, 20 pounds in 21 days. That's just routine. That's just normal. And most importantly, you have an opportunity to adopt an eating system that's going to free you from food addiction. That's the number one obstacle that's stopping you from having weight loss success. And food addiction is also destroying your metabolic health on a daily to weekly basis, because whatever you eat has a compounding effect in your body. If you're feeding your biology mostly highly processed, sugary, salty, and fatty foods, and eating animal products once to twice a day, and low to no plant-based foods, you are obese for that reason and overweight for that reason. And you will have other conditions to arise as well, whether it's high blood pressure or diabetes or abnormal cholesterol. Um, even, so many most Black women above a certain age have fibroid tumors. More Black women have fibroid tumors than not above a certain age. So, you know, uh, Black women's bodies, because of food addiction and eating high amounts of animal protein and eating high amounts of um, processed foods and drinking wine frequently, Black women's bodies are factories for fibroid tumors. And that's tragic, and it needs to stop. Um, I'm seeing too many black men, men of color, walking around with central obesity. These are guys I go to the gym, I see them just about daily and weekly. And they're getting it in, they're doing the strength training, they're working out hard, and their bellies are sticking out, you know, uh, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches from their chest, 12 inches in some cases, over a foot past their chest. They're dealing with central obesity, and oftentimes men have a tendency to be so proud that they can't take advice or learn from other men. So a lot of men are dying prematurely because they have central obesity, and with that, type 2 diabetes is, if not now, on its way. Or if they don't have type 2 diabetes, they have abnormal cholesterol levels, elevated blood serum triglycerides. Their blood pressure is high. So if you have about three of those conditions I just named, starting with abdominal obesity, you are at risk for a stroke right now. You are at risk for a heart attack. Anybody that's had a stroke, anybody that's had a heart attack didn't know they were going to have a stroke. They didn't know they were going to have a heart attack that day. So it's very naive for people to be at risk, have their obvious risk factors, abdominal obesity, and not be in a state of urgency to change. And then a lot of it is just, you know, lack of knowledge, being ignorant to the fact that abdominal obesity is putting you at risk for stroke, cancer, or heart disease, or type 2 diabetes. This is all evidence-based literature you can look up. Look up metabolic syndrome, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Whether you go through Wikipedia, Centers for Disease Control, National Institutes of Health, look up look up metabolic syndrome. So, the number one threat to your biological existence is central obesity. So, the Plant Based Loser 2020 challenge is really focused on um, ending abdominal obesity so that folks in America can improve their metabolic health. And we've got to, prevent further human suffering created by diet induced chronic diseases. And that's my cause, you know. And I'm going to wrap this up. It's late. I wanted to talk about the Plant Based Loser Challenge. I hope you found it informative. And if you know somebody that's pursuing weight loss and pursuing health success or metabolic health, they can reach out. I'm going to say good night. And for more information, you know where to go. Look at the bottom of the screen. And you can learn all there is to know about the Plant Based Loser Challenge. If you have any questions, you can reach out through Messenger. And if you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment. And have a wonderful night. Thanks for tuning in. And if you know someone you care about and you want to support them in their weight loss journey, make sure you share this very valuable and life changing information about the Plant Based Loser Challenge. Share this video with them. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for tuning in. And until the next time.